Hello, and welcome to Fan/Fiction with Andrew/Zach. I am Andrew Gum.
And I'm Zach Dunsing.
And this episode is very special to me because it involves me openly weeping in a movie theater.
Which I did not do because I am a full-blown adult.
Who is dead inside.
Fair.
Lovely. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I woke up at a coworker's house after drinking way too much at Eurovision, which is sort of like the Olympics and American Idol for Europe. And
wait, how can it be both those things?
In the weirdest, most European way imaginable.
Wait, were you in Europe last night?
Yeah, in my heart I was. No, we went to a coworker's house. We've got Spanish. From Spain, Spanish teachers at the school that I teach, and so Eurovision is a big deal in Europe, apparently. And we went to this event, and it was fun. It was very European, but it was a fun time. And then I fell asleep in someone's guest bedroom, and I'm still wearing those clothes. So
good for you. But you're home now. You're not doing the podcast from their guest bedroom, are you?
Oh no, they're out there speaking in Spanish and cleaning up. No, I'm home.
Yeah.
What about you? How you doing, man?
I am also particularly hungover. The Fort Houston had their 6th birthday bash last night, and it was kind of bananas. They rented a sound system that was like one level down from the sound system they used for the main stage at Bonnaroo.
Holy
so it was absurdly loud.
Do you want to tell the listening people what Fort Houston is?
Oh, sure, yeah. It's a makerspace that I helped found and work at sometimes, where a bunch of dudes cut things out of wood and then sell them to restaurants.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Zach's pretty cool, if you haven't picked that up over the course of the podcast so far. Another thing I did yesterday was see Puffs the Play, which was great.
It's incredible, right? So here's the thing. I was like 99% sure that you were not going to follow through on your end of this.
What? It's a Harry Potter related thing. You think I'm not going to follow through on a Harry Potter related thing?
Well, here's the thing. Did your movie pass work for it?
No. It was like $18.
Yeah, it was like $20, and I figured like that's what I thought. I thought you were going to find out the movie pass didn't work and be like, eh.
Yeah. Well, I was bummed that MoviePass didn't work, but obviously still
totally worth it, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally worth it.
In case you haven't noticed, we're doing an episode on Puffs the Play, the follow-up to the Puffs episode that Andrew talked about.
Yeah. So in one of our last episodes in season 1, we found this thing, Puffs the Play, and it was kind of funny, but. Like, it was funny as an idea, but neither one of us obviously could see it because it's a play.
Because it's off-Broadway.
Then we saw that there was a Fathom event where they did a live taping of the play, and then they played it in theaters. So Zach and I obviously went to see it.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, I was not disappointed.
Yeah, so that's a good thing because, hang on a second, I'm kind of peeking here, so I'm just going to turn my levels down a little bit.
Yeah, you do you, boo.
Thanks, Mouse Bonnet.
That's my gamer tag. If you want to find me, it's Mouse Bonnet 69420.
So yeah, I don't know. I just in my gut I felt for some reason that you weren't going to actually see it, and then I felt that I was going to be struggling to try to explain all 90 minutes of it to you because I don't know who any of those characters were. I mean some of them weren't.
All of them are.
Were they all actually?
No. None of
the
main characters were real.
They're that's what I thought.
Sideline characters. I mean, Justin Finch, Fletchley, Jay Finch, he's real.
So yeah, I was fully expecting to have to explain the whole thing to you. So I took I would say 8 pages of notes during the movie. Also, I wanted to make it aggressively clear that I was there for a professional purpose and not because I'm a Harry Potter fan.
All I brought with me to that was a shit-eating grin that I wore the entire time. I was fully unscientific about the entire experience. It was amazing.
I mean, that said, I did enjoy it a lot more than I was expecting to. And I think I'm right on the edge there where like I knew just enough about it that I got most of the in-jokes.
Yeah. A lot of them are movie related. Like
a lot of them are movie related.
Yeah.
A lot of them, a lot of them are pretty low-hanging fruit, I guess. But
yeah.
Well, hey, let's just get into it. Do you want to explain roughly the outline of the play?
Yeah. So, if you are tuning in and did not hear the episode, Puffs the play follows a group of Hufflepuffs.
If you're tuning in and did not hear the first episode, go back and listen to the first episode because it's on the same website where you found this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally right there. Like, you just have to scroll and click with your thumb. Come on. Like, don't be weird, Daniel.
Wait, you click with your thumb?
Yeah.
You don't use your index finger?
Well, I mean, if I'm scrolling through like a podcast app, you click with your index finger?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking on my computer, not on my phone. Please continue.
Oh, I see. All right. You listen to podcasts on your computer like a monster?
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't dwell on that.
All right. Well, anyway, regardless of how you click on it, the Puffs the Broadway play we talked about before follows a group of first-year Hufflepuffs that are in the same year as Harry Potter, while Harry Potter is doing all of his crazy Harry Potter adventures, and they are just being Hufflepuffs, which is really well known as like the worst house in Harry Potter. Like it's all the extras. And they play into that trope
and
beautifully.
Every character in the play is so dumb. Yeah, they're all so completely worthless.
Yeah, they're so dumb and they're not good at anything. But in the midst of all that, you'd think that they'd be like really schlocky, like character, or making fun of people for being dumb. But they really are the heroes in it.
They do have quite a lot of heart. Like the main character Wayne, that's a made up character, and also we're gonna call him Mike Birbiglia looking motherfucker.
Oh, like. I was confused at first. I was like, no way. Mike Birbiglia is in this? Like, it took me a long time to realize that it was not actually Mike Birbiglia. Like, he just did he gain weight a little bit? Or, anyway.
Did he gain weight and get, like, way less successful?
So if I was Mike Birbiglia, I would definitely be in that play because they would have me in it, and I definitely want to be in that play. So
you could pick any role.
Oh my god, I would love to do that show.
Yeah, no, you would thrive in that show, Andrew. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this character Wayne, he lives in like Utah or whatever, and discovers that he's a wizard.
Because his uncle or his adopted dad didn't tell him.
AKA David Cross sounding motherfucker.
Yeah.
So his dad is like, you're a wizard, Wayne. And he goes to Hogwarts. He becomes a Hufflepuff. He's wearing, like, all of the shirts that he wears are, like, 90s t-shirts, but they have been changed a little bit, I'm assuming for copyright purposes. So they'll say things like Teenage Mutant Wizard Turtles or...
Yeah, and everything in it is a joke of that. Like, they never fully call anything what it is from Harry Potter. Like, they call this kid Harry and Sirius and things like that. But then other things, like all the houses have different names. It's like the Puffs, Braves, Snakes, and Smarts, which are just the different Hogwarts houses. So I don't know if it's but it's funny. It's
funny, but it's got to be for copyright purposes because they also, I mean, they do call him Cedric Diggory at one point.
Yeah, I think that you can use names. I don't know if you can
That's not true.
Names.
Yeah, that's 100% you can copyright characters. That's how like half of anyone gets paid.
Yeah, that seems true. I don't know.
I think it's because they broke it up because they never called him Cedric Diggory, but they called him Cedric, and then they they made a joke about why they called him Diggory, and he like thrust it in the air because he was talking about banging someone's mom or something. Which, like, nice,
Yeah.
but so it was weird. Like they did a bunch of stuff, or like when they were doing the Sorting Hat, it was like Potter H or whatever they did. Like they mixed up the names so that it wasn't.
Yeah,
so
I
they
don't know
weren't
if they
specifically
ever
using
say
it.
Harry Potter, Cedric Diggory. They like
No.
call Hermione like Hermonini, and
yeah, right. They
like
mispronounce
that.
it, which is funny. Also,
and both Ron and Hermione were just played by mops.
Yeah.
Like one was just this weird hair, like
Yeah.
some hair, and Ron was just a mop with like red, like a red mop top.
It's just the person playing Harry who we'll call Wednesday Addams looking mother.
Yeah.
She's just carrying the Ron and Hermione around, and they're just two mops that she's playing against the whole time that are literally lifeless. It's great.
And the character, so it's kind of like when we did the thing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like how that person clearly had contempt for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is the same, but with Harry. Everyone is so like dismissive of Harry as a character.
Well,
it's like this really drifty, waifish,
vapid,
like small girl playing Harry Potter. Is just like, I'm a wizard. Wow. Look, I did it again despite all the odds. Wow.
Yeah.
She just like drifts away. It's
really she'll just float in and be like, I killed Voldemort again, and then float out. Like, it's great.
And then, it's really funny. Her casting was perfect.
Yeah. Everybody kind of plays multiple characters. I mean, speaking of casting, so the guy who plays Cedric, aka Tim Curry looking motherfucker, is...
Did you have these prepared? Because these are really good.
Yes, I spent quite a lot of time on this, actually.
Okay, well, it's working out great for me. It's a sight gag, so no one else is getting it. But for me, this is delightful.
But that's, So, he was really good because he played both Cedric, and we should talk about, like, what the arc of it is for, like, basically they spend a time during each year and playing off of each of the books, and largely the movies, I would say. But then he also, once, spoiler alert, Cedric Diggory dies, that guy also starts to play. I'm sorry, did you not know Cedric Diggory dies?
No, I wanted to talk about how they did that. So this
we'll get to that in a second. Hang on. But so then that guy goes on and plays Voldemort and was so good.
So good.
So good. But okay, let's why don't you walk us through the first 4 years up until the Triwizard Tournament or whatever.
So just to paint you a picture, I'm sitting in this theater with only the die-hardest weirdo Harry Potter fans.
22 adults in the theater with me, and there were so many like audible gasps and like the sympathy gasp.
Yeah, people were losing their shit. Same exact thing. Like people my age and older were the primary audience in this, and people were losing their minds, crying and laughing out loud. I was among them for both of those things.
I suddenly realized that of all the weirdos in there, I was the weirdest because I was just aggressively taking notes.
Yeah, you in all those Harry Potter weirdos were the one that they identified as a weirdo.
Yeah.
That feels good. That feels good. But, so in that group, so among these weirdos, Cedric Diggory is like a really popular character. He's like the only notable Hufflepuff, and that's super important to the plotline of Puffs, is that there's all these doofuses who are bad at everything, and then there's Cedric Diggory, who's like
It's a whole house of Randalls.
Yeah, they're all Randalls, except for Cedric Diggory, who's like an anti-Randall, but is still really nice and like is super positive and kind to all the other Hufflepuffs and is really encouraging, and they all look up to him like a hero. And then he dies, and it's like because all the major deaths in the books, they touch on some of them, but that is the one that lands so huge. It's like right in the middle. That's a big one, yeah. Yeah, it's like right in the middle of the play, and like there were literal tears in this satire parody show about it because it really landed. Like it's not just a silly, goofy parody. It's actually really well constructed and funny and sad. So,
well, it's because like the thing about this the great thing about it and the way they spin is that like they walk through the first 3 years and they're just kind of like in the background of everything, figuring out magic. They all really like herbology because it's like the only class that they're good at because it's just about dumbass plants.
Are we gonna look foolish or is it gonna be dangerous? It's about plants, and they're all like, yeah.
So like they walk through the first 3 years, and it's like they're worthless. They're not doing anything. All this stuff's happening around them, and then year 4 comes, and it's like they're finally in the spotlight. Like the whole joke with the you'll explain it better than I can, but the coming in third thing.
Yeah, the winning the House Cup.
Yeah, right. So they're just trying to get into third place. Like that's their highest aspiration. And every time they lose points, like they lose points for everything. Like the teachers are constantly taking points away from them, and then every time it happens, they do like an Inception style horn blow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a wah. And that's great. So they're randling their way through the first 3 years, and then they get to year 4, and it's like the Puffs are finally in the spotlight because Cedric Diggory has gotten into the Triwizarding tournament. Also, full disclosure, I did not realize he was a Hufflepuff until I watched this movie or play.
What? That's like his whole thing. He's like the only good Hufflepuff, and then he dies.
Yeah, and I guess I just assumed that he was too good to be a Hufflepuff.
That's so funny. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean...
Well, because I'm more... it's been a long time since I read the books, and I'm more familiar with the movies, and I just remember them, like, doing that thing in the baths, which was actually done really well in the play.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought that was specific to... Harry's house. What were they called?
The Gryffindors?
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to cut that part out. For some reason, I thought that the baths were specific to Gryffindor. I don't know.
Gotcha. Well...
But, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it just...
So it finally happens. They're finally in the spotlight, and there's like midway... they spend the most of the play... not most of the play, but they spend more time in year 4 than any of the other years during the play, because that's like they're finally making it. Like everybody's super excited to be around.
Exactly, because that's like the
Cedric,
one moment
they go to the dance, they do all that stuff.
Shine, and you get to see Wayne, our main character, really idolizing Cedric and developing a friendship with Cedric.
Yeah,
and Cedric, and everybody who's watching the play obviously knows Cedric dies from the beginning, and so they keep on milking it. It's like, as soon as I'm done with this Triwizard tournament, they don't say Triwizard, they say 3-Wizard tournament. Then I'm going to teach you everything I know because you're a great guy, Wayne, and we're going to be friends. And then he, Also, keep in mind, this guy has the same energy as Tim Curry. Yeah. But like a really intense, like silly, joyful energy. It's Yeah. They set up. But I really like that gag where they're watching the Triwizard tournament and it's the underwater part. Yeah. And they're all standing in the bleachers or whatever, and all the wizards jump in the water, and they're like, "Woo! Wait, now for an hour and a half, we just watch a lake, just watching a lake." It's like for the first, because they apparently are doing a Kickstarter to make a movie or whatever. Yeah. Well, don't you think that's what we watched? Oh, yeah, that's definitely what we watched. What am I saying? But I would totally pay to watch that exact cast with like special effects doing a low budget recreation. No, I think that would cheapen it. Yeah, I think like the stage trickiness that would be worse. Is very funny. Yeah, because I think it's like shot really well for Totally. They didn't phone in that aspect of it, which I thought was really cool. It's done very well. It's really good and funny. And it points out all sorts of really silly things from the book. But this is one of the things that I would say about a piece of fan fiction, which this definitely is, is you can tell that even when it's making fun of it, it comes from a place of almost worship of the source material. Like, 100%. It is such a loving takedown of Harry Potter. Like, they clearly, they and I through them just love like the story so much that they're examining all the strangest corners of it. Yeah, it's great. Well,
there's a guy in it who does just an unbelievable Alan Rickman impersonation.
Oh, he's so
just an
funny.
over the top.
He's so funny.
Over the top mumbling Alan Rickman that is just it's so f***ing good.
They have a sex ed with Professor Snape scene. And then at the post credits, they do all the different versions because a lot of it, apparently, for the show, they have the information they need to get across, but then they let the actors improvise things. So, Harry Potter will just say a dumb thing about Harry Potter whenever he walks in about himself.
Uh-huh.
So, this actress, it shows a linorama of all the different things she says at this one particular part. Mm-hmm. My favorite is.
I didn't see this part.
Oh, yeah, it's during the credits. So it shows you all the bits that are improvised at different points in it. So she will just say something about being Harry Potter. So when she said it was do you remember when the nurse took all of my bones out of my arm and then I had no bones and now I have all new bones. Hey, Cedric, love your bones. And then just walks away. It's so great.
Oh, man.
It's so great.
Can we talk about my favorite scene then?
Please. I would talk about this for longer than the average episode, and this is supposed to be a mini episode.
We're just gonna have to milk this, and I'll cut it down. But because there's really so much to talk about here.
I know.
But so my favorite scene, I was literally crying, laughing, which I can't remember the last time that happened to me. Obviously, because I'm a bitter soul.
I was at multiple points, so know that I'm with you.
No, the part where that character comes in and a little disclaimer comes up on the screen that says the actor in this scene is allowed to say and do whatever he wants, and he just jumps into that insane story that I guess is just the movie 27 Dresses.
So for 3.5 minutes, he's just telling this story like he's one of the characters in 27 Dresses, and then caps it off with him getting married to Katherine Heigl from 27 Dresses. And then it's but then she found out I was 16 and a wizard and I had to come here, so now I'm really bummed out. And that's it.
Zach Smith.
Oh, so good.
Wait, is Zach Smith an actual character in Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah, Zach Smith. Zachariah Smith is, yes. Yeah. He's the kid that does the sports commentating for Harry Potter.
Oh,
so that's
right. Because that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole thing is they set it up like it was a sports thing and that Zach Smith was going to come in and I don't know, teach them how to fly brooms or whatever. Yeah. But then he just jumps into that insanely long, aggressive retelling of
his whole goal is to make the other actors on stage break and laugh.
Yeah.
And so that a lot of this is targeted just at trying to get them to break. And it's so funny. It was really good. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, I'm so sad that you left during the credits because he does 4 more of those. You get to see other improvisation. So he does one of, I think, the movie Splash, where he falls in love with a mermaid. And then he does one where he's just doing parkour the whole time, and then whatever that Brazilian dance fighting is, but he's teaching
Capoeira.
Yeah, that's whatever you just said is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh God.
That's great. I mean, he was funny. He did. I didn't have a name for him, unfortunately, because he didn't look like anyone.
Yeah, he was Jay Finch. Oh,
yes,
I see. Right. I see. Your names, your eerily specific and accurate physical descriptors. Yes. He he just looks like a grown-up kindergartner. He's got his head's a little too big. He's got an underbite. He's very energetic.
I do have the actor's name somewhere. Nick Carrillo.
Yeah. Well, Nick Carrillo, you were very, very funny. And I loved it. We should send them a link to this because we loved them. I don't know if they will care, but we should.
I feel anyway. You mean the Puffs people?
Yeah, the Puff people.
I thought you were talking about our audience.
We should send them. Wait,
I was wait,
are you recording?
Fundamentally not understand how this works?
I thought we were just talking about a dope thing. Why'd you have to bring an audience into it? Oh, jeez.
Okay, so do you want to walk us through the last 3 years, and then maybe we'll go over highlights.
Yeah. Okay. So after Cedric Diggory dies, it kind of mirrors the events in the book, because in book 5 of Harry Potter, or movie 5 of Harry Potter, if you've read or seen, you know that that's like the angstiest year, and they make a lot of really good jokes about that like it's this huge long book where almost nothing happens, and it's just Harry Potter being like a total like asshole the whole time.
Yeah.
So our character Wayne,
because that's what Wayne does.
Yeah, our character Wayne has just seen Cedric Diggory die as well, and was like his hero, and so he's totally given up, doesn't care anymore, like wears all black. And it makes a joke how in the movies, basically after book 4, nobody is in uniform ever again. So I guess just uniforms aren't a thing anymore. And they never
like, yeah, we can just wear regular clothes.
Which is funny because that is never explained in the movies at all, nor is it in the books. He's wearing all black and is super depressed. So you get to see him becoming less and less enthusiastic, feeling like he's going to be a hero, because he thinks he's like a chosen one kind of a person, but he's obviously not. That's Harry. And then one of his friends, who are kind of the mirror image of Ron and Hermione for Wayne.
Except that one of them is like a math genius, and now it's completely worthless because
that's so funny. A really good joke. He's like, I'm really smart, I'm good at math, but there's no math here. It's so funny. It's really funny. And then this other character who's kind of like Hermione is this emo goth, like doesn't want to be a puff because her mom's an evil witch, and she just wants her mom to come and see that she's like strong and tough just like she is. But you get to see her progress.
And we'll call her actress from Players Back Off, mother.
That is a deep cut reference that I will have to research.
I've never even seen that show.
Yeah. Oh, haters back off. Haters back off.
Oh yeah. What did I say?
Layers?
Yes, that's right.
We'll have to run that back to the tape to know what you said. But yeah, I know, she does look like that actress.
Actually, like not 100% sure it isn't the same person.
Yeah, it totally could be. That would be awesome. Anyway, you get to see her arc of like basically becoming softer and kinder and accepting friendship and helping each other out, which is what the Puffs are really about, which is why it isn't just making fun. Like the whole point of it is you can be super brave or super smart or whatever, or you can just be a good person who's trying your best, and that's okay. It was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, it does do that great thing of going back to like all the founding members of the school, and they have that kind of running gag where like, I'll take all the students who are brave, and I'll take all the students who look like they will throw a glass of white wine in your face, and I'll take all the students who are smart. And then it gets to the Hufflepuff person, and she's like, I'll take, I don't know, or whatever. And it just kind of runs that on until the end when it's like, I'll take everybody else.
Because,
like all the other people. Yeah.
Like, why would you want to just be brave or just be smart or just be like an asshole when you can be everything else, which is really nice. Yeah. It's like a very holistic. And then, okay, so we get to see her arc, this Hermione stand-in, becoming softer and kinder, and you get to see Wayne's arc of basically giving up on the idea of being a hero at all. He's just trying to be a good person and good for his friends. And then we finally get to the point where it's the Battle of Hogwarts, and
at this point, Tim Curry looking motherfucker is doing an incredible Voldemort with just a bit of tape over his nose.
Yeah, and like a little shower cap that makes his hair green. And he's just wearing a silk kimono that's kind of open. It's so funny.
He's so good. Like, he milks the shit out of it, and it's really, really good.
Oh, man. It was so good. And so...
I love that part where he's like, excuse me, I'm off to kill a boy.
I'm going to go kill a baby. Ooh.
That's right.
It's so funny. Anyway, so we get to this final battle, and this is where like the real heart in the story comes out. It's that moment where all of the people are deciding, are they going to stay and fight, or are they going to like run home? And all the Slytherins run home because they're the bad guys, and they make a joke about that too. But the Hufflepuffs in the books mostly stay. And there's this whole conversation, should we stay or should we go? It's like, we're not even good at magic. We've been terrible at this the whole time. We're the dumb ones. Why would they even want us to stay and fight? And they're like, why would we fight and die for Harry Potter? And then Wayne says, like, we won't die for Harry Potter. We'll die for each other. And then I'm just crying.
And then they all die.
Then they all die, except for the Ron and Hermione stand-in characters. And
who are in love at this point,
and
too.
it's so, yeah, exactly. Just like Ron and Hermione. They have a love story, but...
Oh, right, yeah.
Then, this is maybe the most brilliant element from the whole thing. So Wayne, who's kind of been this completely forgotten character, like the opposite of Harry Potter the whole time, the most unchosen one ever, he dies and he accidentally stumbles into Harry Potter's death dream when he dies and goes sees Albus Dumbledore, where it's like, ooh, this isn't actually set up for you. This is more of a Harry thing. And he's like, well, what was it all for? Like, why? Like, I'm going to be dead now and no one's going to remember my name. I'm just going to be some kid who died at school. And there's this kind of beautiful thing of it's okay to live and die and have just been a good person, just have tried your best. And that's okay too. And then Dumbledore kind of like shuffles him out to make way for Harry Potter's like moment and then resurrection and gets to be like the chosen one and the hero. But Wayne doesn't. He just stays dead. It's great. And that sounds like it would be like a downer of an ending, but it isn't. It's like the whole point of being a Hufflepuff is that you're not that spectacular. You're just trying to be good, you know? It's great. I loved it, man.
Which are you?
Oh, truthfully, I'm probably a Hufflepuff in reality.
That's
I'm not
kind of what I was thinking.
I'm not that brave. I'm definitely not very cunning or ambitious. I mean, we're making a podcast about fan fiction, so we're not that ambitious.
The bar is not super high.
Yeah. I mean, but I just think it's like all of the ethic in it and the heart of it is it's very pro just wherever you're at, whoever you are, whatever your level of ability is. It's like the fact that you are kind to each other, you're there for each other, you try to help other people out. Like that is heroic in and of itself.
Spoken like a true Hufflepuff.
Totally. They're very anti the exceptionalism of Gryffindor. So they make a whole joke. For example, Zach earlier was talking about the first act. They're talking about how they're just trying to get to third place. And they do it. They get into third place for the House Cup, the first time in history. And then Dumbledore just dumps a bunch of points on Ron, Hermione, and Harry. And it puts them in first place. And then the Hufflepuffs get pushed to fourth place.
Well, I like that they draw focus on how arbitrary the points are, too.
Yeah, it's like 150 points for being friends? What?
What? Do you want to talk about your favorite bits real quick, and then we'll wrap it up?
Yeah, totally. So there were a few things.
Like, basically your favorite, like, kind of inside jokes.
Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. Some of the things that I really loved throughout the whole thing were the story structure parallels that they built in. So obviously you got Wayne and his two friends that are sort of like Ron, Hermione. It's sort of like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead thing too, where you see that Wayne is inadvertently setting a lot of things in motion, which is apparently something that every piece of fan fiction does, is you take these characters or, a reimagining of a world and you make them responsible. Like he's responsible for making Harry into such an asshole in fifth year because he's already feeling all, jilted. I love that. I love all of the jokes about it being in the 90s where it's like, we don't really use owls anymore because we have AOL Instant Messenger and that is way faster.
Well, doesn't he at some point, I think it's in his rallying speech, he calls them the Mighty Ducks 2 of wizards or of houses. And
he's so funny. There's this, he's always referencing new movies that just came out, and they're all movies from the 90s, which is funny.
Which is all, for some reason, it's so simple, but it's always funny.
Yeah, it is.
I think this was kind of a 90s thing. I like that the sorting hat was just one of those fortune teller folded paper things.
That was really funny and silly. Like, just kind of how dumb and arbitrary it is.
Yeah. I really like, too, all the times where they were like, Jesus H. Merlin Christ. Or like, oh my wizard God.
I loved that too.
So stupid, but so funny.
Yeah. This is a hard thing because my gut is just telling the audience, you have to see this, but they literally can't because it's an off-Broadway play.
And I only had a 2-day run in theaters.
Yeah, man. But if there's a way for you to see it, like that's not what this show is not about reviewing things. That's not meant to be a review, but I just so much enjoyed it.
I would say if you're a fan of Harry Potter in even a mild way, it would be very worth your while. I did, as a result, get Sarah's sister to go see it, so she's a super fan and loved it.
Well, we should talk to her. I mean me, and you could sit there and just be like, you guys are dweebs, and we'd be like, yeah we are.
I'm gonna go whittle something. I'm gonna go make a brand.
Yeah, that is much more your speed. You make things out of wood, and I read Harry Potter erotica, and that is, what really holds us together as friends.
Yeah, that's why it works, man. Yeah. You're my better half.
Well, what about you? What's one standout moment other than just Voldemort being the man?
Oh, I liked when they went to the Leaky Cauldron and were drinking butterbeer, and it all had Land O'Lakes butter
really
labels
funny.
On it.
Yeah,
which is very silly.
Beer bottles with Land O'Lakes on the front.
Yeah,
and
they all just got shit-faced.
And they did a knockoff of "I Get Knocked Down, but I Get Up Again," but they put in like Hufflepuff lyrics.
I totally forgot about that.
And they kept on making references to like, "You are 13. This is way not age appropriate for any of the things that they're doing." Like, the adults are really not helping. Kids keep dying, and the adults aren't doing anything. And they're like, "Oh, Hufflepuff." This is another one. Like, they kept on bringing back like Hufflepuff emergency formation, whatever. And then they would just huddle together. It's like, "Don't hurt us. Please be our friend. Don't hurt us. Please be our friend." It's so funny because that is my emergency procedure as well. I just ask people not to hurt me and to be my friend.
Mm-hmm. And mostly it works.
So far, so good.
I like that Mad Eye Moody just had a giant googly eye over his face. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, also we should say that it's not just the Snape guy that does a perfect impression. Everybody does perfect impressions.
Oh, yeah.
So Minerva McGonagall was perfect. The Sprouts teacher, or Sprouts herbology teacher, Madam Hooch Sprout. Her name is Sprout something, I think.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. Anyway, the herbology teacher, her impression was perfect. Snape was obviously perfect. Mad Eye Moody was perfect. They make a big funny joke out of when Dumbledore started being played by a different actor.
Oh, right.
And being like, "I'm telling you, that is not the same guy."
Like, the headmaster looks different this year.
Yeah, and then they have a different actor come out and play him. And like, tonally, those two performances are super different. Michael Gambon is way different than whoever died in the first two movies. What was that actor's name?
Oh, man, if you hadn't asked me, I could tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Anyway, they just... It was so loving and so good, and I loved it, the whole thing.
Yeah. No, it was good. They nailed all the performances. I mean, like, because there's only, like, I would say 6 or 7 people doing everybody, and they did a really good job of swapping out parts and basically just, like, especially all the instructors, like, just nailing all of those performances. But it was good. Yeah, I laughed.
Yeah, I laughed so hard and cried full-blown tears of sadness. So, I mean... a literal I laughed, I cried kind of a performance. So
can I tell you how relieved I am that I didn't have to see this with you?
It would have ruined the experience for you. You would have just like been so distracted by my joy that it would have made you close up like the black gates of Mordor.
Yeah, I just would have started even more aggressively taking notes just to try to distance myself.
Not even looking, just leaning away and writing things down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I loved it because my first move was to call my sister and geek out just like I am now, but to her, because she's another huge dork like me. So, yeah. Because I wanted to call you, but then we had to do it for a podcast.
Yeah, right.
So,
and I also was fully not expecting you to watch it for some reason.
Yeah, that's a little hurtful. I think that maybe that speaks to my follow-through in previous engagements we've had, and I'll accept it.
Any final thoughts?
Just that I'm excited that we did this as a mini episode, and we're going to make a few more mini episodes that are just as weird and specific, so get ready.
That's right.
Good night, Zach.
Good night, Andrew. Oh, by the way, the play was written by Matt Cox, who I looked up later and wrote down long-haired James Vanderbeek looking motherfucker.
Good to know. Hello there, this is Andrew. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to hear more of this stuff, go to fanfiction.show or anywhere else you go to get your podcasts. You can also contact us at xandrew@fanfiction.show, and our Twitter and Instagram are at fanfictionshow. This week we did Puffs, as you just heard, and the only real exciting news is that Langston Belton, the guy who played Oliver in Puffs, who's kind of the Ron equivalent, liked an Instagram post that we made. So I guess we're done now. That's basically all of our life goals achieved in one fell swoop. So goodbye.